Has it been a week already? I guess so. Well, folks, welcome once again to that mysterious nether zone of comics, comic strips, and just plain fun that we have come to know, love, and enjoy as that place hidden deep within the bowels of downtown St. John's, Newfoundland. Here we are once again in the Library of Graphic Literature with your host, me, Wallace Ryan. Now this week you're getting a very sweaty and tired Wallace Ryan because it's very, very warm out here. Summer has finally hit. Of course, compared to the rest of North America, we get our summers a little later, but they last a little bit later too. Oh, so that's why I'm dressed down for the occasion. So I'm gonna make this quick because I'm dying here. I'm dying. So, some cool books this week, and I guess we'll get to it. But first, of course, a cup of tea, or a sip, and a spin of the old comic rack. What are you saying, comic rack? You want me to have a look at the latest book from Evan Dorfman called Dork? Okay. You don't have to ask me twice. Okay, anyway, so first off, this week is Dork. Not me, the book. Dork. This is from, of course, Evan Dork. This collects a lot of his work from his self-titled comic Dork. I used to read this years ago, and I loved it. It was very funny. Evan Dork is one of them treasures out there. We loves him. We love him. But yeah, he's definitely one of the most talented comic book artists slash writers to come along in a long time. This, of course, has colors by Sarah Dyer, of course. And it's just darn cool. So I guess this, along with my Milk and Cheese book and what other books? Eltingville Club and Beasts of Burden. I have a nice little Dorkin collection going on here. Anyway, this is definitely worth reading, folks. So any of you out there who are into humor and all that, give this a shot. I'll give you a quick taste of what it's like here. It's of course all black and white. I'm a big fan of the black and white. I know there are some people who may not be huge fans of black and white artwork, but look, how can you not love this? But like I say, it's one of those comics you're gonna have to read, and as you can tell, there's lots to read in here. Look at this. I mean, this is gonna take you hours and hours. Oh, and a touch of color. Dork, love those covers. Like I say, I love his style. There's something angular, cute, and edgy all at the same time with Dorkin. So, if you're looking for a bit of humor and a bit of fun, try the Dork. Definitely worth a kiss. Whew, I'm already sweating to death here. Have some tea to cool me down. Well, that whittled me out. Now, it's time to get down and put a real hefty look at this book here. This is, of course, the Prisoner Artist Edition from Jack Kirby and Gil Kane. Script by Jack Kirby and Steve Englehart. Love Steve Englehart's work, by the way. But this, oh, and this one is plastic. This is from Titan, actually. This is, I guess, their foray into the world of artist editions. So let's break this one open and have a look here. Now, and I know actually I even looked when I bought it. As opposed to a lot of Titan books, this actually has a sewn binding. So, do a little bit more of that Titan, a little bit more of those sewn books. Anyway, this is one book here to wool you out and knock you over and make you question everything about life. So it starts out with some Kirby, and then it goes into some KANE work here. It's great too because this is the and so it shows some script stuff here and all that. This is great too because KANE and Kirby are actually two of my favorite all-time artists. Kirby for all the reasons, his excitement, his power, everything like that, and KANE for his visual flow, his anatomy, top-notch kind of guy. So this is kind of cool. This has a couple of the Kirby pages are actually inked. I'm not going to show you everything because there's not a lot to this is actually a rather small outing when it comes to artist editions. This one's only about 60 something pages, 64 I do believe. So these are lettered and partially finished anyway. This is all cool Kirby work here. Pretty neat. And then into the KANE work. Look at that. I mean, look at that, folks. Look at that KANE. Love his stuff. But yeah, when I seen this, it's just like, I have to get this. Even just to be able to see some of KANE's work in its very elemental form. And then of course there's supplemental material. Ooh, look at that color. Definitely cool, hey? And of course less script and stuff like that. This would be a perfect one to actually bring to my class. So like I say, The Prisoner, Jack Kirby, KANE. Who could ask for anything more? I know I couldn't, except for lower temperatures. Oh, I'm dying, I'm dying. Oh no. Okay. So that was pretty good. Let's keep on going while I still have the energy. While I still not passing out here. I only passed out once in my life. I fainted once in my life. It was I was in New York. This was several years ago, and I was at a bar called Sweet Paradise? Yeah, on Orchard, and hanging out with my friends. Matter of fact, I just arrived there, and the guy at the bar, he handed me a drink, and he was introducing me to his girlfriend. I'll never forget this. And you know, shook her hand. I took one sip from the drink. It must have been a very hot night, and all I can remember is saying, "I don't feel so good." And then I just like woke up, and when I woke up, I just seen all these people above me looking down at me, like something out of the movies. And I can remember thinking, what are all these people doing in my studio? That's when I came to and realized that I had actually just fainted pure away, just right to the floor. Hit a chair on the way down. It got an awful lump on the back of my head, but survived with little to no brain damage, ramage damage that I'm aware of. Now, oh yes, as I was telling that story, Silver Age Flash Omnibus Volume 3, people. So, of course, big Flash fan, and I love the Flash from this era. Most of this actually is Carmine Infantino, Ross Andru, Don Heck, and Gil Kane. I'm a huge fan of the Carmine Infantino Flash. The Gil Kane, even just looking at it here, not too bad. And the rest, well, you know, so. Still more of a huge fan of the Carmine Infantino era. I do like the Gil Kane in this, but the Carmine Infantino, man, he could, I mean, he just had this futuristic look to his work back then, and this is his early work, of course. I never did cotton much to anything Carmine did from like the late 70s on. I think his work did suffer then, but I mean his early work, you know, his Adam Strange, his Flash and all that, absolutely fabulous, absolutely fabulous, but absolutely fantastic. So we'll have a quick look here. This is some of his work. Very, very cool. I wasn't a big fan when Joe Gilla inked him, but I loved him when Murphy Anderson inked him. That's when he was at his best. Here we're getting into a bit of Gil Kane there, which I can tell a mile away. Long future here into a bit of the Ross Andrew. Oh, look at that cover. I love those covers. It was nothing like the 1960s covers for Flash. Look at that. Darn, darn. Absolutely amazing. Oh, love that cover there too. So yeah, I don't know how many of you are out there are big Flash fans, but I encourage you to check it out. Oh, there's another Gil Kane. I can recognize Gil Kane a mile away. That's kind of most. Ooh, love that cover. Dig that. But yeah, and I love the fact that a lot of these omnibuses are now starting to catch up to the DC archives, which I spent so many years collecting, and now it's just like, well, but I had to get these because I had books in between that I was missing, stuff like that. And then once I started to buy them, I kind of was like, well, gotta keep going now. Can't stop now. That's all the wrap ones here. Can you see the sweat, people? Look at the sweat. Okay. Next up is one of my favorite writer artists out there, Matt Kindt. Well, Matt and Charlene, I guess. This is volume 4 of Dept H, Lifeboat. I love Murder 6 Miles Down. I'm still a few books back in this, but I absolutely love it. I was a huge fan of Mind Management, of which, speaking of which, he's doing actually a Mind Management special with a comic and a little record to go with it. Smart idea there, Matt. Love stuff like that. It's really pushing the art form a little bit more. But Dept H, beautifully drawn, amazing storytelling. So if people, anyone out there likes a murder mystery deep underwater, this is it. It's kind of like well, yeah, it's a murder mystery. It's kind of like Sherlock Holmes and The Abyss met, although The Abyss, this is so much better than that. But yeah, I just can't say enough about this book. The first few ones I bought, actually, I bought directly from Matt himself, because he was offering these slightly higher priced versions of these books, but they came with a beautiful drawing with color on the inside front. So the first two I got of that, but I had to bake out because it was starting to really cut into my budget there. But anyway, Dept H, definitely a great comic. Like I say, this man is truly one of the, I think, one of the most underrated comic book artists, writers out there. Absolutely ingenious. Love his stuff. It's funny, at first he had one of these styles that, you know, I looked at it and I was sort of so-so about, but the more and more I read this book, and the more I read other things, especially Mind Management, when I first started reading that, like I say, at first I wasn't a huge fan of his artwork, but the more and more I read it, it's just like the storytelling, and a lot of times when I read certain artists like Matt, I begin to realize that they're the only ones who could have told the stories. So the art just suits the stories for some reason. A lot of times I've read these, and there's just no other artist who could do but him. So, Dept H, we love you, Matt. Whew. Fainting. This is a graphic novel here. It came out from Finch, Baker, and Michael Collins. Matt Finch, Chris Baker, and Mike Collins. As it says here, they unpack the urban legends, the gossip and speculation to reveal a remarkable true story about life, death, dreams, and the reality of humanity's greatest exploratory achievement. For those of you out there who get on with that foolishness about that we never landed on the moon, this book is not for you, because this deals with reality. So, but I mean, when I was growing up in the 60s, I was a huge Apollo fan. I couldn't get enough about NASA, space. I loved everything space related. Well, I was a sci-fi fan too, so of course, when you're there at the dawn of the space age, you gots to watch. I still, to this day, remember that night at home with the parents and the brothers and all that, as we watched on TV the first man stepping out onto the moon. I mean, we stayed up for hours, what seemed like hours to us, and we got to see a little bit of history. And it's funny, I always thought too, it must have been weird for the person who was left behind in the command module just to be basically orbiting and orbiting, and in the case that something happened to them, he would just have to turn and head home without them. So that must weigh heavily on one. But so anyway, I'm sure I'm going to love this, because, well, hey, it's Michael himself, so this guy must know what he's talking about. Big fan of Buzz Aldrin too, especially after he punched out that moon landing conspiracy nut. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, voici la lune. So yeah, without a doubt, something very, very cool, and something without a doubt worth reading. Space. It is our final frontier. Whew, whew. Fading faster. Well, we're down to one book. And what book is that? You say, Wallace? Well, Wallace, stop talking to yourself. This week is volume 9 from the Rosa Library. Yep, Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck. I've, of course, all the other 8 volumes, and I'm a huge Duck fan, and I know there are others out there like me who are huge Duck fans also. And it was Don Rosa actually who, oh, excuse me, whoa, where did that come from? Toledo, Ohio? I don't think so. But yes, back to Don Rosa. It was his, and I've said this many times, it was his Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck that turned me into a Duck fan. Granted, I read some when I was a kid, but, you know, never really, I guess they never really seemed to take with me. I was more into the superhero stuff. I guess the closest I came to being a Duck fan for years was being a huge fan of Howard the Duck. And, but a lot of difference between, of course, Howard the Duck and Uncle Scrooge and them. But along came Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck, and I read it. And I read it mainly because I'd heard that, you know, it won an Eisner Award, so I was just like, what kind of book, a Duck book, wins an Eisner Award? A good one is the answer. And so went out, I somehow found the, oh, which were the editions, those gold ones, were they from Boom or, but anyway, I got a set of it, including the Life and Times companion, and read them from top to bottom, and absolutely loved it. Read it again, and now with the Don Rosa Library, I read it a 3rd time, and you know what? It seems to keep getting better and better. I don't know if it's just my brain is, you know, not what it used to be, and keeps forgetting how good it was, and then when I read it, it's just like, oh my God, how good is this? But I just, well, I can't say enough about why I love this book, but I'm not going to go on for a long thing, because you're going to say, oh my God, let's do all this going on and on again about ducks. So this one, Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck, Volume 9. There's only 1 volume left now in the set. So run out and grab the other volumes, then go and get this one, and then wait patiently for volume 10. Love it. Here's a quick look at it here. Of course, I'm not going to show you everything here. Great story, so I mean, this guy is absolutely amazing. And these stories are great. They're adventuresome, they're interesting, I just can't say enough. They're fascinating. They're amazing. They're stupendous. They're incredible. So, oh my god. Oh my god. I seem to have run out of comics to yak on and on and on about. Oh, hang on a sec. Love to hear that. Anyway, it's getting warmer and warmer here in the studio, so I'm going to have to bid all you fine folks out there very good evening. I don't have any shout-outs this weekend that I can think about. Nope, no shout-outs. I'm probably forgetting someone, but I shall remember next week. Anyway, this has once again been in the Library of Graphic Literature with me, the Doctor of Strange Comics. Actually, when I did my eulogy for Steve Ditko there last week, and I signed that one, at least, the Reverend Wallace Ryan, and a lot of people were saying, you know, is that real and all that, and yes it is. I'm an ordained minister, and as I said to someone, all I do is preach the gospel of comics. Yes, you understand, don't you, Mother Box? Yeah? Well, how about whipping up one of those boom tubes for me, instead of just pinging away. Oh my god, that has to be the second biggest boom tube I've ever seen in my life. Oh, it's sucking me away. Bye, love you.